All right, what's going on, guys? This is going to be the first of two next Angel of Death guides. This first guide is going to be more focused on getting you in the door and making sure that you're contributing and that you know what all of her mechanics are and how you're supposed to properly address them. And then the second guide is going to be a more advanced tips and tricks and how to make sure that you're really pushing your kill times as low as you can get. Ideally, you're going to want to move towards the second one, but one, it's gear locked. Without having tier 95s, it's hard to get those crazy fast kills. And then it's also pretty mechanically demanding. So that's for next video. This video is just, what does Angel of Death do? So first, we're going to get into our gear. We're going to be on full tier 90s, full tier 90 tank armor, and then tier 90 weapons. We're on Scripture of Jazz. I have 2 rune pouches. These are for Disruption Shield. If you don't have Disruption Shield, then you don't need to worry about bringing these. Ideally, you want something in your quiver slot so that you can have a prayer bonus, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm also bringing Amulet of Souls and a luck ring. If you don't care about having a luck ring, or if you have it in your relics, then you can wear a 6-stage circuit instead. And then I'm wearing a Tzkal-zuk cape. As for my relics, I'm using Fury of the Small. All your basic abilities generate 1 more adrenaline. I'm using Conservation of Energy. After your ultimates, you regain 10% adrenaline. And then Persistent Rage, your adrenaline now generates outside of combat. For this boss in particular, Persistent Rage doesn't matter as much. Font of Life is fine. Death Ward is also fine. But I use this at the bosses I use the most, so that's why I'm using this here. So if we go back to our inventory, we have a spring cleaner. This isn't necessary. It's just I have extra inventory spots, so I use it to clean up some of my drops. I'm bringing an overload, an adrenaline potion. Enhanced replenishments are the most cost-effective adrenaline pots, but ultimately it's up to you what you end up bringing. I'm bringing brews and blubbers for my food. 1 sailfish as a emergency eat. I'm bringing my necromancy stuff, so ectoplasm and the necromancy runes. Vuln bombs aren't necessary. Generally speaking, you're not going to have to bring vuln bombs. These are just on my preset, so don't worry about the vuln bombs. Bringing a super restore and ritual shard for prayer restore. You don't need the ritual shard. This can just be a second super restore. And then I'm bringing Excalibur. Again, you don't need this. This can be another sailfish if you want. For the familiar, for the lower end setup, you're going to want a Ripper Demon. And then for higher end setups, you're going to want either a Ripper Demon with scrolls or a Calgarian Demon, depending on what your gear is looking like. And then I'm bringing a Power Burst of Vitality and a Power Burst of Acceleration. These are going to be important for dealing some of Nex's more important mechanics. So as those mechanics come up in the video, I'll explain what to do about them. Okay, so now we're going to get into a kill. Nex has a lot of mechanics, but a lot of them kind of don't matter because they're DPS checks. So the first phase, which starts from full health, which is 3 million HP, down to 2.1 million HP. She will auto-attack you a few times, then she'll jump in the air, land back in the middle, and she'll summon Blood Reavers. Now, the Blood Reavers, when they get to her, she will deal typeless damage based to the entire team based on the remaining health of the Blood Reavers. I believe it's 1/10 of their remaining health. Typically, if Blood Reavers spawn, you just drop them to like 20k and then you can keep hitting her. It's not that big of a deal. You can kill them, but the idea is you want them to be relatively low. Beyond that, she will also be facing one of the quadrants. Whoever is in that quadrant will take 3,500 typeless damage 3 times. That typeless damage can be reduced by Reflect. It can be reduced by Debilitate. I'm not sure if you can Disruption Shield. I've never tried, but it is reduced by Reflect and Debilitate, so I would just use those. Now, there's another mechanic after Reavers where I think it's after a couple more autos. If she still isn't dead, then she'll summon Shadow Orbs. Generally speaking, if all 7 people are on Necromancy, you'll never experience the Shadow Orb mechanic. But if you're experiencing it in your kills, she'll drop 3 orbs on you that do typeless damage. After the third one lands, you just move 1 square in any direction, so they're not damaging you anymore. But yeah, let's get into a kill. Alright, so now we're going to get into a kill. We've already talked about phase 1, so once phase 2 is starting, I'm going to pause it and we'll talk about that. But the beginning of the fight is just summon all of your guys and hit the boss. So let's get into that. In this kill, I'm the person who's putting Invoke Death on next, so that's why I'm using it. Generally speaking, you're going to have a dedicated person to do it. I just decided to do it this kill. So here, Blood Reavers are going to spawn, and Nex is facing me, so she's going to do the typeless damage that I was telling you about. So I'm going to use Reflect and Debilitate here so that the typeless damage gets reduced to 1/4. So instead of getting hit for 3,500, I'm going to hit for 875. This is the beginning of phase 2, and you're going to see, she says, you've done well to come this far. This is when these clouds are going to come in. You see there's this red one, this black one, the white one here, and this blue one. These are the amalgamations. You're going to want to kill them, and then the minions will spawn, and then minion tanks will do their war. So in more coordinated teams, you're going to have one dedicated person to clear the amalgamations. That's going to be me this kill. So you're going to see here. So I'm going to use Threads, Volley, Finger of Death, and then they're all dead. So now I'm going to walk outside of the ring. So I'm the closest person to my minion, which is Roar. Then I'm going to step back on the edge of the ring and surge across. That's going to move me from here to up here where this person's standing. And then all 4 players who are tanking minions are going to do that. And what that does is it puts them all directly under AoD. So once that's done, the minion tanks have done their job. They just need to stand still until all the minions are dead. Phase 2 ends at 1.8 million HP. Generally speaking, you're never going to experience other mechanics in phase 2. Technically, she does have mechanics that happen in phase 2, but you only need to do 300,000 damage to phase her, so you never really experience these mechanics, especially in teams where anyone knows how to kill the boss. So here, I'm going to do the minion war. Surge across. You see all 4 of the minions are under Nex now, and that's the minion war. So now we're in phase 3, where there are 3 major mechanics. There is Smoke Cloud, Ice Prison, and Smoke Blades. Now we'll get into that. So the first mechanic we're going to talk about is Smoke Lines. So what's going to happen is Nex is going to say that she's going to draw smoke towards you either from the north or from the east. In this kill in particular, it says that she's going to draw smoke towards the north. So what that means is that it's going to come at me from north to south. So what I do is I bring it all the way to the wall. And then if you're on the wall when the smoke spawns, it just won't spawn at all. You see here, I walk back out because you don't need to bring it all the way to the wall, but it is something that you can do just to make sure it doesn't spawn, period. I just walk back out because doing this makes it so that no one is going to get hit by the smoke. So this is just what you do with it. You want to drop it away from where your team is going to be. This next mechanic is going to be the Smoke Cloud mechanic. So Nex is going to say that she can't control the smoke or something like that. Let's see, what's she say exactly? She says, even I cannot control the element of smoke. So you see she's sending this black cloud towards me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat to full, and then Power Burst of Vitality, and then detonate it. It's going to deal 14k damage split among all the people who are detonating it. If you detonate it solo, then you're going to need a Power Burst. Even if you're detonating it with one other person, you should still probably Power Burst. Yeah, if you don't detonate it, it'll deal like 5,500 typeless damage to the entire team. So ideally, you're going to want to detonate it, but in really, really fast kills, it may just be better for everyone if you just tank it. The last mechanic is the Ice Prison. I went through 8 hours of me doing AOD, and I didn't get this mechanic to happen a single time to any other person. So unfortunately, I don't have footage of it, but basically your screen is going to get covered with ice around the corner. If you've done Glacier, it's the same icing mechanic that you'll see when you're doing the Frozen Core. If you haven't done Glacier, it's a white film around the corners of your screen that's going to get progressively more intense. When she does that, she's going to stun you, and then she's going to put an icicle on you. If you have a Power Burst available, because Power Bursts have a shared cooldown, so if you have any Power Burst available, then you want to Freedom and use Power Burst of Acceleration. As soon as you actually get iced, you'll get knocked up in the air a little bit. You can just surge and the mechanic's done. If you don't have a Power Burst available, tell your team that you got iced and make sure you get away from them, because it'll deal damage to anyone around you. So just get away from them, tell them that you're iced, and they just need to hit you out of it. Similarly, if you see someone who's turned into an icicle, just hit the icicle if they can't free themselves off. So after that, we're getting into phase 4. This phase is pillars. So what you'll see here in the chat is that, Master, I have failed you. Now, it's important to keep track of the order, because these are the orders that you're going to need to break the pillars in. So Umbra is southeast, Glacies is northeast, Cruor is northwest, and Fumus is southwest. When you're going around killing the pillars, every so often you're going to be hit with a debuff or side effect of the pillars that are still currently alive. While Umbra is alive, you will deal with the shadow mechanic from base next. So it'll spawn between 3 and 5 of the shadows that you deal with in phase 2 of base next, where it'll hit you for like 5k typeless. So they'll spawn under you every 2 or 3 ticks. So you just need to make sure once one spawns, you need to move to somewhere that there isn't one under you, and do that until they stop spawning. The mechanic for Glacies is your screen is going to get iced. It takes quite a while for the ice to do anything to you, but you just want to make sure that you freedom that ice. If you don't, it'll put Dismember on you after like 15 seconds, and then it'll stun you. So your best bet is just to use freedom and clear it whenever you can. The Cruor debuff basically doesn't matter. It's just when Nex damages you, she will heal a little bit. And then the Fumus debuff will drain your stats. If you're overloaded, which you should be, it will reduce the duration of your overloads. The biggest thing is if you can control the order that you kill the minions in, you want Glacies and Umbra to be dying first. What order Cruor and Fumus die in doesn't really matter, because their debuffs don't matter. Also during this phase, keep in mind that Nex will only attack with magic, so use Protect Magic, and if you're comfortable Soul Swift Flicking, then you can also Soul Swift Flick here to keep your health high. So occasionally, when you are in this last phase, you're running around doing your pillars, Nex will mark you for the element. When this happens, you'll see this bar under your health bar start filling up. Once that's full, you're going to get hit with an execute. The way you dodge the execute is by being in this middle blue circle. So you see I dodged the execute there, but now it says you feel the elements boiling up inside of you. So what's going to happen is once this bar is full, it's going to drop a bomb under you a few seconds after. It's like 3 or 4 seconds after the bar fills. That bomb is going to last forever, and it's going to deal 3,000 damage every couple of seconds. And that damage is typeless. What you want to do with these bombs is just drop them either in corners that your team has already been in or away from the pathing that your team is going to take. So here, I'm walking to a corner that we already did. And you see that bar filled. Now, I got marked again here, so I'm just going to get bombed again. So just rinse and repeat. Just keep dropping it in places where your team isn't going to be. I think this kill actually got bombed 3 times in a row. So for the last, like, 30 seconds, I just didn't get to play the game. But that happens sometimes. It's what it is. It's no big deal. The biggest thing is not dropping the bomb on top of your team. But yeah, that is all of the core mechanics of Nex. So now we're going to go over a full kill, and I will show you guys what I'm doing. And I'll try to explain everything in real time so that it's all making sense. Alright, so we're starting this kill by just summoning all of our guys. I apply Darkness here. Darkness does work at Nex, so it's good to apply. Summon all of our guys. Activate Vengeful Ghost. We're just hitting the boss now. Now this kill, we did enough damage that we got to skip the Reaver mechanic. So the Reavers just don't spawn, which means that Nex doesn't do the thing where she faces a quadrant and then does the typeless damage, which is really good. Now here, I'm going to kill the amalgamations. I'm going to do my minion lore. Then I'm going to go back to hitting Nex. So the order is Umbra, Cruor, Glacis, Fumis. So we're just going to keep that in mind for the last phase. And now we're just DPSing Nex again. So the smoke lines are coming, so my team is dropping the smoke lines. Okay, and now we're going to start killing the pillars. So we're starting with Umbra. Then we're heading over to the Cruor pillar. I got marked for the elements, so I'm just going to go towards the center. Now I'm dropping this bomb near the Umbra pillar because that's where we started, so no one has any business walking all over there. And since everyone already killed Glacis, now we're going to go hit the Fumis pillar. Fortunately, I didn't have to deal with any of the mechanics this kill from this last phase. I believe it has to deal with whether or not Nex can actually hit you. I was just far away enough from Nex that she never was in range to auto attack me. And then once all the pillars are dead, you just DPS Nex. I don't know what this weird clipping is. Oh, that was the ceiling. Okay. I was like, wait, is this video like glitched or something? But yeah, that is Nex Angel of Death. She's not too complicated. There's a lot going on, but if you're in a team that's doing a lot of damage, or if you're just familiar with how you deal with all of her mechanics, she's a very simple boss. Every kill goes pretty much exactly the same. And then once you hit higher and higher breakpoints, you just deal with less and less mechanics. There are instances where you have to deal with the Umbra mechanic and the icing mechanic. So I will put a short clip of that here. So here you're going to see the icy effect start showing up on my screen. And then I'm going to start getting the black shadows under my character. It's kind of hard to see the black shadows, but you just saw one there. There, I freed him the ice. But yeah, hopefully this guide helps you guys start getting into AOD and start participating with some of your friends and some of your clan members in getting these kills. Now, this guide is a little bit bare bones and is mostly focused on just getting your first kills and making sure you know what you're supposed to do. The next guide that I'm going to put out for this is going to be a lot more intense, and it's going to be more focused on how to base tank, and it's going to be focused on how you can optimize your kills so you can go as fast as possible. But yeah, until then, if you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me monetarily, you can become a member, and I will see you guys in the next one.